her only known image may reveal otherwise, there was nothing really plain about Jane Austen, 1775 to 1817. Her novels, which have become classics in their own right, allow us today to share the memory of the robust society in which she lived and its privileges of rank. It was a colourful, turbulent and seemingly romantic world in the process of rapid evolution. Jane liked writing about young women fighting the battles of the heart to win the prize of marriage upon the field of courtship. They belong as much to her time as do the list of battle honours won by those involved in the era's major war campaigns. Jane's family were wealthy merchant class on her father's side and solid aristocrats on her mother's. This meant that she was on a firm footing with the leisured classes, although not really one of them. The English provincial life, as led by Jane Austen and some of her heroines, was one of quality and modesty. A cultivated ambience of politeness with a keen though delicate sensibility was well balanced by common sense. This was reflected in how they dressed, dined, performed, and were entertained in a selection of social settings. Both the locals and the landed gentry welcomed her father, a respectable rector, a gentleman of sorts. The country houses and parks they lived in were expressions of a wealthy ruling class for Jane and her contemporaries. From the socially competitive, elegant drawing rooms in the city to the robust attractions of the country and the period's most popular spa and seaside resorts, they established standards for excellence in both taste and style. These were recognised by Jane and her peers, and most especially by the burgeoning middle classes who wished to emulate them. They combined a mixture of self-esteem, national pride, and uncompromising good taste. They also represented the unequal structure of a society in which a third of the nation's population faced a daily struggle just to survive. From the monarch down, a pyramid of patronage and property was in place. It is in this circle that Jane and her family moved. Jane's brother, Edward Austen Knight, inherited Godmersham Park in Kent. Jane enjoyed her life à la Godmersham, and in 1813 she commented, "At this present time I have 5 tables, 28 chairs, and 2 fires, all to myself." This was a period when the Royal Navy was winning great victories, and although her brothers were involved, for many these events were remote. That meant that for ladies like Jane, they had time to pursue activities such as music, painting, playing games, and writing. Her family went to live in the village of Chawton in 1809 in a cottage that was part of her brother Edward's inherited estate. And when she moved there, she expressed her delight in an amusing verse written for her brother Francis. "Our Chawton home, how much we find already in it to our mind, and how convinced that when complete, it will all other houses beat that ever have been made or mended, with rooms concise or rooms distended." It did not really beat all the other houses at the time, but as were a great many other middling houses, it was certainly snug. Mr. Bennet, father of Jane's heroine, Elizabeth from Pride and Prejudice, enjoyed his library. By this time, libraries had become large rooms of great activity. They were arranged for comfortable study of the antique or for reading by the fire. They were also symbolic of status because the acquisition of knowledge was viewed as a long-term investment in a family and its future. Books were read aloud from at all sorts of social gatherings. They were perused for good lines and words that could be introduced into polite conversation, and were also a subject of polite conversation themselves. A library offered a peaceful place for study and hours of quiet contemplation, especially desirable in a woman of Jane's status. A new desire for comfort meant that a chair and sofa table was placed by the fire and piled with books to be used by the student. Portraits were used decoratively so that your ancestors imbued a sense of continuity in their eternal gaze. Classical ornament was used decoratively on the fireplace, and busts looked down from the tops of bookshelves, attesting to the fact that you were content. The archaeological discoveries being made daily at Pompeii and Herculaneum in Italy were inspiring a European community in search of truth and knowledge. Excavations revealed that ancient artists and writers had free expression in their work, with religion and honour being paramount to society's daily existence. This revelation began to affect the social and moral values of most European communities. In 1817, Jane Austen left the world on the brink of unprecedented change. She would be pleased to know that during her lifetime, the cultivation of the mind had become highly valued and perceived as far more important than the cultivation of wealth, and that her novels are still celebrated widely nearly 200 years after her death.